All right, so let's break this all down. Joining me now live in the studio is 10 News political analyst Dr. Ed Lynch. So, Ed, thank you again for joining us here tonight.
Thank you.
A lot to talk about here in Virginia. Nikki Haley gets 35%. Obviously, she doesn't win, but that's a lot.
That is a fairly impressive total, given the fact that she was trying to campaign in so many different states and did not have a huge organization here. It is a respectable number.
Okay, and then earlier tonight on 10 News at 6 or 7, you said, look, if she could win Vermont, that would be enough reason for her to stay in. Well, guess what? NBC just called Vermont for Nikki Haley. So what do you think happens?
I think she probably stays in. It's hard to think of her bailing out after she's had a victory. She hasn't had very many. D.C. and Vermont are the only ones that she's won. So I think if her money holds out, she'll probably try to keep it going a little bit longer, try to give people an alternative, and be there just in case the wheels come off the Trump campaign because of a health issue or a legal issue or something like that. She'll be able to step in. And as I did mention, she is doing much better against Biden than Donald Trump is in the November polling.
In a hypothetical matchup for the White House. Okay, so the other, of course, Vermont has, what, fewer than 1 million people total.
Yes.
So it's not like it's a big delegate count, but it's really a symbolic victory for her, isn't it?
It is, and like Virginia, people in Vermont of both parties can vote in either primary. So, and I imagine that Donald Trump will criticize her for that. Well, you know, you won because of Democrat votes, and Haley will respond, what's wrong with getting both Republican and Democrat votes as opposed to just Republican votes?
Well, we already know from the polling that she's getting more crossover undecided voters than either of the other two candidates. She does very well in the middle. So let's talk about the vote totals when we look at these uncontested primaries. No real reason to go if you know your guy's going to win anyway, and yet people are going.
Yes, indeed. And that's something that I always look at in primaries where there is not a real doubt about who's going to win. Total Republican votes here in Virginia, almost twice the number of total Democratic votes. In places like Texas, even more than that. In Vermont, over twice as many. What that says is that the enthusiasm level and the commitment level on the Republican side, right now anyway, is considerably higher than it is on the Democratic side. Nobody on the Republican side thought, well, I have to vote, otherwise Nikki Haley's going to win this primary, except in Vermont. And nobody thought, well, I have to vote or otherwise Joe Biden is going to lose. So you look at the vote totals, and if there are a lot more votes on one side, that means more enthusiasm, more commitment, more excitement on that side.
Okay, so you got motivated base, I guess, is
that's exactly right. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So, still not enough delegates for either Trump or Biden to say that they are the victor yet, but pretty much that looks like a foregone conclusion. When do they start throwing haymakers at one another and sort of forget about the primary process?
I think that probably starts tomorrow morning.
Really?
Yes, absolutely. They're actually both have been moving in that direction anyway. Biden has been criticizing Trump by name and more harshly the last few days. Trump will probably do the same thing, the occasional shot at Nikki Haley, but I think the two front runners concentrate their fire on one another starting almost immediately. Okay,
so assuming there is a rematch, Trump 4 years ago versus Trump now, in about the 20 seconds we have left, how's he doing?
Much better. There was not a single poll in 2020 that showed Trump ahead of Biden, and he's ahead of him in several or tied, which means he is probably 5 or 6 points better off now than he was 4 years ago.
Okay, so we'll see what happens. Thank you for your time tonight.
Thank you.